Thank you very much. Some happy unicorns, some sad quick shots. VIZICSACSI's Defacio's boy. Anyways, VIZICSACSI gets player of the series. You guys get to actually watch the Analyst Desk segment while waiting to talk to me. Hilly, did Chachi deserve player of the series? What do you think?
Except some deaths top lane, 2 versus 2. I think he played really well. Like game 1, he, I think, carried pretty much alone. And game 2, our combo was pretty annoying to play against, so I think, yeah, he deserved it.
Talking about pretty annoying to play against, XERXE, you guys bounced back from being so heavily behind. You've lost games, you've been so heavily ahead, and someone else has bounced back on you. So how does it feel being in the winning seat this time round?
Our early game was pretty bad, but our mid and late game was good, and we managed to punish their mistakes, so it's really good.
How did you manage to punish the mistakes? What was the communication like inside the team when you knew you were so far behind?
We just knew we had a better team comp, and we've been through these situations, so we kind of knew what to do, and I think our shot calling was better, so yeah.
Well, it definitely showed out at the end. Those team fights were great. HYLISSANG, why are the Unicorns of Love so good at team fighting this split in the European LCS?
Well, I think with this team right now, XERXE and SAMUX, we haven't been fighting so well, like previous weeks, for example. I don't think we have fought like better. I think G2 has better team fighting, for example. But I think we're improving, and for example, this game and past week in streams, we have shown that we improve so much in this scenario that when it comes to team fighting and positioning, we all know where we are and how to fight. When, for example, in the last game, I misplayed, and there was Orianna and Rumble behind us, and laying ultimate of Rumble, and we had to back off there. And before, we would just go in and die. But now we practice in the stream a lot, like how to communicate when fighting, and everyone is on the same page and not like someone goes in and fall backing. So that's shown up really good today.
It's really great to hear such an in-depth breakdown on how you approach that style of play. And Unicorns, they had this kind of dip, you know, it came out strong in the beginning weeks, a little bit of a dip around IEM, and now you're looking great again for the last 2 weeks. XERXE, what have you done to improve your jungle play? Because we heard you talk a lot about how difficult it was to face Karsa, for example, and try to find a rhythm on some of the previous patches.
I think Karsa was maybe, but I'm not sure, the best jungler I've played, and I learned a lot after IEM from him. And ever since, I think I improved a lot, but sadly I couldn't show in today's games. Right, so well, I will keep improving.
Look at it this way. You said you couldn't show it, but your team still won 2-0. I want to congratulate you guys. Currently sitting first place in Group B. Well done on the 2-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to head to a break. Before we go, though, let's check in with Professor Pyra as he breaks down some of the stats of the top lane.
Hello, students of statistics. Professor Pyra here to give you a lesson in top laner performance. There are many ways we can evaluate how a player is doing, and some are better than others. One metric we often look at is damage per minute, also known as DPM. If someone is dealing a ton of damage, that's probably a good thing, but there are different factors that affect it. In the top lane, there's a huge difference between the highest and lowest damage-dealing champions. So say you play a bunch of Gangplank, what are the top laners with the highest DPM? Sometimes the champion you pick and the frequency you play it can skew your numbers upward a whole lot. It doesn't necessarily show how well you're playing. Damage per minute is highly win-biased. Look at Shen. The difference between his DPM and wins in losses is huge. But all is not lost. We can still use it to create a damage rating. Let's look at my champion pool in the last 5 games. We look at my win-loss record and the professional average DPM in wins and losses for those champions. We take the sum of the professional average multiplied by the frequency played and divide it by my total number of games played to get the expected damage output. Finally, we divide my average DPM by the expected DPM, apply some math, and voila! We get a damage rating! Now that we've tackled damage, let's talk about the effects the jungler can have on the top lane. Maybe your jungler is ganking your lane a bunch, but the enemies isn't exhibiting the same pressure. Does that make you a good top laner, or just good friends with your jungler? One way we can work this out is to look at the jungle proximity difference. This is the amount of time your jungler spends within 2,000 range of you, from 3 to 15 minutes of game time. Essentially, it's a measure of how much he's your buddy. We can also look at how much time the opponent jungler spends with the enemy top laner. So if we look at someone's jungle proximity minus the opponent's jungle proximity, we get the jungle proximity difference. The higher the difference, the better off you are in terms of jungle pressure. We use this as part of our overall weighting to take into account the effect of the jungler in the top laner's performance. But let's talk about a lighter subject, death. Now we all know dying is bad, but dying when you're caught out alone is even worse. It indicates bad positioning, poor vision, just general bad news all around. So we need to differentiate between a death and an isolated death. Isolated death means dying without any of your teammates around you, 1500 range to be exact. And then we have a whole load of other statistical metrics. Kills, assists, deaths, isolated deaths, CSD at 10, CSD at 15, CS per minute, damage rating, jungler proximity difference, kills plus assists at 15, kill participation. I could go on. But not all of these things are as important as the others in determining how well a top laner is doing. But that's a lot of numbers. So we asked some smart people, you might recognize them, about how we should bring it all together. We broke it down like this, and here are the results. As Heimerdinger says, we've applied the formula for success. We'll see you next time on the EULCS. Good luck, and have fun!